Hello everyone, it's End Times Talk, and I wanted to come at you with a video. There is so much going on in the world all over the place, and I mean, it's the whole entire world. This is not just America, folks. I mean, fire after fire is breaking out at all these toxic chemical plants, and all these trains that are carrying chemical agents are tipping over, and I've noticed that it seems to always be by some stream somewhere. The train that tipped over in Michigan, if you look closely in the background, it's right by a little creek, and that trickles down the way. That trickles down the way. There in Ohio, there's been three plants, chemical plants and places where chemicals are, is what I'm trying to say, that have exploded. I mean, it's absolutely crazy. Check out these videos.
This is big breaking news. Multiple manufacturing plants inside of Ohio have reported massive explosions. Mass casualty events have been reported, and these events have happened, two of them, two manufacturing facilities within 45 minutes of each other and within an hour of East Palestine, Ohio. What is happening? Something's going on. It seems like there are cells being activated, and there is attack after attack.
And I mean, there's even more videos, folks. There's videos of trains derailing all over the place. There's trains of a truck tipped over with nitric acid in it, and all this red smoke is just billowing up. Check these videos out. Isn't this crazy? I mean, it's becoming almost to be too much to cover. I mean, it seems like every day there's something new happening, and I was thinking about, like, what, there's got to be some form of Illuminati card that clicks in with all this happening, and I actually found one. It's called population reduction. Check this picture out. And you see that they couldn't get us with this right here. Okay, they couldn't get us with this right here. So they're going to start to do all these toxic spills and all these toxic fires, and try to make our habitat basically unlivable. If you can't drink the water, there's a water crisis, and then you become dependent on the government for water. It seems like everything is just piling up. There's a lady that made a TikTok, and she was talking about how, when land becomes toxic, that they can actually come in, kick you out, and force you into one of these 15-minute cities. Check this video out.
So according to the laws governing Agenda 2030 land development, any land deemed toxic, the government can seize it and kick everybody out and put people in 15-minute cities. This is all on the EPA website, by the way. And it's really weird that all of a sudden there's all these explosions in all these cities causing mass pollution. It's probably just a coincidence, I'm sure. But if it weren't, this sure makes a lot of sense.
Isn't that what she said crazy? I mean, it blows my mind, folks. And they're beginning to design these 15-minute cities, these smart cities. They have one in Abu Dhabi. They have one that they're designing in Saudi Arabia. And I don't know if construction has already started, but I do know that they have plans to make these. Check these videos out.
For too long, humanity has existed within dysfunctional and polluted cities that ignore nature. Now, a revolution in civilization is taking place. Imagine a traditional city and consolidating its footprint, designing to protect and enhance nature. The line will be home to 9 million residents and will be built with a footprint of just 34 square kilometers. And we are designing it to provide a healthier, more sustainable quality of life. The line's communities are organized in 3 dimensions. Residents have access to all their daily needs within 5-minute walk neighborhoods. And the line's infrastructure makes it possible to travel end to end in 20 minutes with no need for cars, resulting in 0 carbon emissions. By leveraging AI technology, services are autonomous, saving you time and effort. Designed by world-leading architects, the line is 500 meters tall, 200 meters wide, 170 kilometers long, and housed within an elegant mirror glass facade. Intelligent solutions create efficiency and year-round temperate microclimate with natural ventilation. Energy and water supplies are 100% renewable. The line is designed as a series of unique communities, offering a wealth of amenities, providing equitable views and immediate access to the surrounding nature. With 40% of the world accessible within 6 hours, at the heart of the globe's key trade routes, a place for commerce and communities to thrive like nothing on Earth seen before. The Line, the city that delivers new wonders for the world.
Introducing the new horizon for Riyadh, a new icon, the Mukaab, the world's first immersive experiential destination. A gateway to another world. Step inside and it's unlike anything you've ever seen. At a scale that's unprecedented. Big enough to hold 20 Empire State Buildings. Where you and those around you enter a new reality, transporting you to Mars one day and magical worlds the next. Where your retail experience is completely reimagined, and hospitality, leisure, and entertainment reach new levels, all in breathtaking, ever-changing environments. This is the new face of Riyadh. Experience a new horizon.
And see, it's happening all over the place. It is happening all over the place. They are preparing some divergent, insurgent sort of baloney, all right, to stick people in walled-in cities, just like the Hunger Games. They've been telling us in the media what they're going to do to us. So they're going to make outside unlivable, and then they're going to force you into these metropolitan mega centers, these smart cities that they have, and they're gonna force you to be boxed in like sardines. Is what it seems like to me. I have no plans on going to any of those cities. I'd rather die and go home to be with Jesus in heaven, where there's plenty of room. You know what I'm saying? I cannot believe that this stuff is happening, folks. There's even and I'm going to talk about it again, even though I talked about it in my last video. There's even a one world religion forming right now as we speak. The Abrahamic family, center is what they call it. And it's a synagogue, it's a mosque, and then it's a cathedral all in one place. So they have a Jewish synagogue, an Islamic mosque, and a Roman Catholic cathedral all on the same property, coexisting. All right, this is the beginning of the one world religion, folks. They were telling us what they're going to do to us. Now they're doing it. All right. Like we've talked about in past videos, silence is consent. All right. So when we don't stand up for ourselves, when they're telling what they're going to do to us in like movies, music videos, TV, cartoons, even stinking card games, you know what I'm saying? Like they're absolutely taking that as our consent when we don't stand up for ourselves immediately when we start seeing these things. I mean, how are we to stand up for ourselves? I mean, these people absolutely do not care about mankind. They're super selfish. They only care about their elitist families and their elitist bloodlines. It's absolutely ridiculous. They're a bunch of inbreeders. They're ridiculous. All right, but they are taking over, and even in the movie They Live, when Roddy Piper and his buddy go into this room, where all the elite are, and they're having this banquet, you can hear them talking, and they're literally saying that they want to implement their plan and have complete control by the year 2025. Well, we're in 2023, and look what's happening, folks. They have been telling us even since the 80s, even since the 70s, what they're going to do to us. And now it's beginning to happen. I mean, they've told us what they were going to do to us in movies like white noise with this train that derails in a year ago in this movie that was made, you know, and now a train derails, and that Ohio, East Palestine, Ohio train derailment, it almost like kicked this thing off like a football game, and all of a sudden, everywhere out of the woodworks, you know, explosions are happening, and train derailments are happening, and trucks are tipping over, and they're putting much toxicity in the air as they possibly can. And then you got the Illuminati card called population reduction. I mean, everything is falling apart at the seams, people. This is a type of warfare, people. I'm telling you, this is World War III, and not to mention everything that's going on with Russia and Ukraine and China and Taiwan, and how America's getting their hands, you know, in the whole Taiwan situation. How Japan just, or was it South Korea? Either way, I can't remember which nation. They just declared North Korea a terroristic state again because they're messing with weapons again. You know, good old Rocket Man. You know, I mean, it seems like everything is happening all at once. Israel is at war with Hamas and Hezbollah. They're surrounding them. You know, they have all these nations, like even Iran, you know, which is like using Syria as a forwarding base for Iran. They're moving in on Israel. All right, just like in Joel chapter 3. Joel chapter 3 is coming to pass. And it says that when you're seeing those things in Joel chapter 3, that the day of the Lord is near. The day of the Lord is near. We are near the great tribulation, people. All these are signs of it, folks. I mean, look at the movies like Elysium, Ready Player One. Like everything is poverty-stricken in these movies, and the landscape is desolate. Look at the Book of Eli. It's desolate. I mean, all these different movies are showing a deserted landscape that's just completely desolate and destroyed. All right, and look at what's happening. They're just, all this toxic smoke is just billowing up, and then you have acid rain and all this stuff. It kills off crops. It destroys the water supply. I mean, these things are piling up, folks. I mean, this is a major, massive red flag. They're building walled-in cities to stick you in. You know what I'm saying? All over the place in different countries. You know, and from what I've heard in the past, you know, I'll tell you how it's going to go down more than likely. And I heard this. I can't remember I heard this. But a long time ago, I heard what they'll do is they'll use the school buses in your local area. And they'll go door to door, forcing people onto these buses. All right? And what's going to happen is then they're going to take you to probably like the post office, you know, because it's federal property. All right? It's not owned by the state. It's a federal it's federally owned land. And then they're going to have tents set up. And from what, and I'm just saying it, I'm saying as I heard it, folks. I have a feeling I need to tell you guys this, that they're going to strip you down naked, make you go into these tents. They're going to scrub you down like dogs, all right, and disinfect you, all right, you know, get the lice off of you and all this crap, all right. Excuse my language, but that's what it is. This is a load of crap. And then they're going to force you into a jumpsuit, and then they're going to put you back on the bus, and they're going to ship you out to a far-off place, to some FEMA camp somewhere else where you're not accustomed to where you are now. You see what I'm saying? And they're going to separate man, women, and children. The women are going to be with the women, the children are going to be with the children, and the men are going to be with the men, and you ain't going to have your family structure anymore. And more than likely, they're going to split you up like they're splitting up the refugees. I had a friend who knew one of these refugees, and he told him that his sister and his cousin were shipped off to Tampa Bay, Florida, all right, and he was shipped off to Dallas, Texas, and they weren't allowed. They purposefully split apart the family. They want the destruction of the family unit, because when we have a family unit and the man and the woman are married and they have the children, God has his hand on that, people. But not all people are married. God still has his hand on those people, but there's a structure of a family unit that is important, the way God designed it. And the Illuminati and the powers that be absolutely hate that. They absolutely hate it. If you go into the coded Illuminati document where they code it to make it look like Jews are to blame for what's happening, but it's really the Illuminati. They flat out say they want the destruction of the family unit. They want the destruction of the Christian youth. They want the destruction of every constitution. They want the destruction of inheritance. All right, they want to do away with all these things, so that way you're reliant on them. Here's a World Economic Forum video where a guy is talking about you won't even own a car anymore. Check this out.
Why would you own a car? You might own a car like maybe some people own a horse. You know, they might take a ride on the weekends or something. I think that's where the world is going, is that people will not own cars. They'll have a service that takes them where they want to go when they want to go there. 1 million people die every year in cars from human error. And then think of the trillions of hours that we spend behind the wheel driving. Are you going to resist the future or become part of it? There's a huge positive impact to society when driverless cars become a thing. We're in the early to middle stages of the development of software that can drive cars.
So here's the thing. They're saying that they care about us so much and that they care about us living so much that they don't want us to have cars anymore, is what I heard that guy say. Oh, because of human error, all these people. No, man. No, man. That's that you guys are trying to control. You guys are trying to make it to where people can only go where you say that they can go, all right? And people can only be where you say that they can be, all right? And if we have our own vehicle and we own our own vehicle and it's a gas-powered vehicle, we're not connected to your system, right? So they've implemented these electric cars and they've implemented these ideas that cars are going to drive themselves. You know, there was a old man who worked in the Prophetic, and his name was William Marion Branham. All right. And he had a series of prophecies that he gave. I think it was like 9 prophecies. Okay. And he talked about different things that were going to happen. And all of them have come to pass except for the last one where he said that a female would take power in America, and it would be through her that America would be destroyed. Okay. So I want to state that first off, but this man talked about cars that drove themselves and how he saw in a vision. And this was in the 50s, people, or in the late 40s, where he saw people literally facing each other playing a game going down the road in a car that was driving itself. All right. I mean, this man's prophecies have come to pass, William Marion Branham. And I mean, I have a few of his books right here. I got a bunch of his pamphlets and one of his books right here. And I'm telling you, people, the dude's accurate. The dude came about through the Depression and all that stuff. And he was a preacher through the World War II era, you know, but I'm telling you, people, it is absolutely crazy how accurate these prophecies were that he gave. All right. And I don't know where you can just go look them up because I can't remember them off the top of my head, but I can tell you that when I did do my research on them, they were super accurate, folks. And it's interesting that Kamala Harris is a female, but you know, we're nearing the end of you know, the Biden administration, and we don't know if there's going to be someone who's feminine that runs for president and that's going to get the presidency. Either way, the destruction of America is here, folks. Okay, like you're seeing it all around you. You are in World War III. It's not a question of if or when. It's a question of, you know, how far is this going to go until the rapture comes. I believe in a pre-tribulation rapture all the way. We are not in the great tribulation yet. We don't have the false prophet yet, even though they're trying to set up the one world religion and they're trying to reform the borders right now. That's what all these wars are about, people. And I've been saying it on End Times Talk from the very beginning of our videos that these wars breaking out are literally the restructuring of the borders of society, of the global countries to form a one world government. Okay, and then basically what happens next is they're going to divide it into 10 kingdoms, and then they're going to place 10 kings over these 10 kingdoms, and we're seeing some of these kings arise now. I think Prince Charles is one of the 10 kings. I think whoever's I think Douglas Trudeau is going to be the ruler over this whole. I mean, he's super corrupt. He's super corrupt. Now, I'm not going to 100% stick with that, but it's a possibility he's one of the 10 kings. You know, all over the globe, you're seeing these kings come to power. These very famous individuals come to power, and they're taking over their own sector. And so you have people jumping over to NATO. You have people talking about leaving NATO. You have, you know, the Ukraine wanting to join NATO. You have Finland that joined NATO. You have Sweden that wants to join NATO. You have Turkey that's combating all that, and then all of a sudden they get all these massive earthquakes, which they just had another one, a 6.4 earthquake. All right, it seems like everything is lining up, folks. My friend who was ex-Illuminati became Christian, and before he died, we spent a lot of time on the phone, and he told me, and I'm going to flat out tell you, that he said Russia would win the war against the Ukraine, and then they would come after Poland. It's interesting, when Joe Biden went and visited the Ukraine just recently, he didn't just go to the Ukraine, he went to Poland as well. Because I'm telling you, there's a war coming in Poland as well. Mark my words. And the U.S. is going to back it and pay for it, just like they paid for the Ukraine war. We, as Americans, and our tax-paying dollars have literally went to pay for the Ukrainian war. And all this nastiness that Ukraine is doing in their land, they're even persecuting Christians. They're saying if you don't worship Christianity the way that you're told to, you're going to get in trouble. You're going to be persecuted, right? I mean, we see horrific video after horrific video coming out of the Ukraine of them using anthrax on Russian soldiers and all this different stuff. I mean, the Ukrainians are fighting dirty, people. And I'm not saying that Russia's not either, but I'm saying it's absolutely disgusting how warfare has become. I mean, you see all these drone footages of them just flying over and the soldiers don't even know they're there, and then them dropping something and everybody dying. You know, it's absolutely crazy what's happening across the globe. This is World War III. I don't know how you could repackage it any other way. This is World War III, folks. This is just the beginning. This is just the beginning. Ordo ab chaos, that's what these people believe. That's what the Freemasons and the Illuminati and the Rosicrucians and the Age of the Golden Dawn and the Knights of Columbus and the Knights of Malta and the Shriners and the Skull and Bones and the Scroll and Key. They believe in Ordo ab chaos, order out of chaos. So we're starting to see the disorder right now. We're starting to see the chaos. Look at all the trains. Look at all the power grid attacks that have happened. Look at all the food distribution centers that have burned. Look at all the farms that have been attacked, and burnt down. I mean, this is 21st century warfare. I don't know how people can't see this, folks. I don't know how people can't see this. I mean, it's absolutely crazy what's happening in the world. It blows my mind that people are still so stupefied and in a slumber and in a sleep that they can't see that we're in the beginnings of World War III. I mean, you literally have to be asleep not to see it. I mean, you literally have to be asleep not to see it. It is absolutely incredible to me that people are saying that this is all coincidence. Oh, this happens. Oh, we have thousands of derailments a year, not billowing chemical smoke. All right? Not them coming up and literally lighting the junk on fire, right? Not all the food distribution plants don't burn up like that every year. I mean, look at 2022, like over 200 buildings that had to deal with food burned. All right, they went after our food. Now they're going after our air and our water. Look at the strategy that they're using, folks. That's exactly what that's exactly what's happening. I mean, any of this can happen anywhere at any time, wherever you could be. It could happen where you live. It could happen where I live. Literally right where I live. I'm 2 blocks away from train tracks, and I'm 2 blocks, or I'm maybe 4 or 5 blocks away from an industrial, complex where all the factories are, right? And anything can happen at any point in time here where I live. You know what I'm saying? But I'm trusting in Jesus. Jesus said these things have to come to pass. The end has to come. There has to be a falling away. But meanwhile, there's revival breaking out all over the world. People are getting saved. People are coming to Jesus Christ. There's so many people that are finally seeing what's happening, and they remember all the things that they were told by all these conspiracy theorists and all the Christians that are have been talking about this stuff for so long, warning people these things are coming. All right, just like here at End Times Talk, we've been warning people these things are coming. Now, finally, it's beginning to happen. And all these Christians and conspiracy theorists and people who are watchdogs and watchmen and watchwomen, all right, they're all being vindicated now. Everybody that shouted from the rooftops for 10 plus years are being vindicated now. All the times that you were laughed at, all the times that you were mocked and scorned, I literally had people come up to me and say, man, I'm sorry for laughing at you. I used to laugh at you. You know what? You go ahead and you can have your laugh because I know that I'm right, because God is right. God said these things that would come to pass. Jesus says, behold, I have told you before. All right. So we have to understand that's what's happening. Here's a few videos more of what's going on in the world. Check these out.
Yeah, you see that? Netherlands. So we got Italy, we got Netherlands, we got Ohio, we got Michigan, we got Washington State, we've got Louisiana, we've got Texas, we've got Florida. All trains, all burning toxic chemicals.
The Abrahamic family super center, I'm going to call it. You know, there's videos coming out of this place. They've already built it. It already exists. All right. It's already happening. All right. The one world religion is here. The one world order is here. Now they're just seizing power of it. Just like they said in the movie They Live. They're seizing power of it. And there's a man named Phil Schneider who used to be a public speaker, and he was a man that worked for the U.S. government. He was a geologist, but he helped build deep underground military bases, or what he called DUMBs. And he even said that the military industrial complex knows that they are going to depopulate, all right, by the year 2029. They're literally going to depopulate the world before 2029. And look at what's happening. All these chemical attacks, all these chemical spills that are happening. All right. I mean, this is absolutely lining up, folks. And then they have this Agenda 2030. By the year 2030, they want to have the world a certain way. All right. Klaus Schwab says you're going to own nothing, you're going to have nothing, and you're going to like it, because they're going to make where you're living so toxic that you're not even going to be able to stay there, and you're going to be told to move, and you're not going to be able to take nothing with you because it's too toxic. Think about it, folks. Think about it. And then they start sticking people in these 15-minute smart cities. All right. That's what's coming, folks. That's what's coming. And so they're manipulating. They're manipulating and they're conniving their way to reach their goal of power over the world. And that's exactly what's happening. They are building the kingdom of the Antichrist right now before our very eyes. That's what this is all about. All right. Putting the Bible into this situation and really putting it into perspective. They are building the one world government that the Antichrist will take hold of when he arises. All right. And everybody thinks they know who the Antichrist is. And everybody's got a guess, or 10 guesses, or 20 guesses, or 100 guesses as to who the Antichrist is. But what I was taught by my friend who was ex-Illuminati turned Christian, he said that virtually the Antichrist will be unknown. All right. And out of nowhere he will appear, and it will all of a sudden have all the answers. All right. I don't think that we're going to know who he is till he arises, to be honest with you. That's just my opinion, folks. Okay. I'm not crushing on anybody else's opinion. I'm not smashing on anybody else's ideas or anything like that, because you could be right. But my opinion is that he's going to be virtually unknown, and that out of nowhere, overnight, he's going to appear and have the answers to all these toxicity problems and all these water issues and all the air pollution issues and all the land pollution issues and all the war issues and all the economy issues and all these different things that are happening. This is how he's going to come to power. And not to mention that they're going to have the false flag alien invasion, and then they're going to come down all of a sudden, even though that they've been here the whole entire time. They're not even from outer space. They're from inner space. And then they're going to tell everyone that, this is the man that's going to lead you into the new golden age. All right. That's exactly what's going to happen, folks. All right. That's exactly what's going to happen. And the aliens are going to seal the deal on the Antichrist, and the whole entire world is going to bow down to him. You know, I can tell you right now, this is exactly what I see coming, folks. This is exactly what I see coming. And I'm here to warn you at End Times Talk that it's getting bad, folks. And we need to lean upon the blood of Jesus Christ. We need to lean upon the word of God. We need to lean upon the Holy Spirit and the authority that the blood of Christ has over all of this stuff. All right. We need to be pleading the blood of Jesus Christ over our family, over our homes, and over our cities. That angels come protect our cities from all this toxicity and toxic attacks, chemical attacks, any kind of form of terrorist act. We need to start praying against it. You can move mountains with prayer. It says if you have faith as small as a mustard seed, you can tell that mountain to fall and it'll fall. Or if you can tell that mountain to move and it'll move. All right. I'm telling you, folks, have faith that God is in control of all this, but we got to pray. We got to pray. We got to seek God's face. We got to pray hard, because we can hold this thing back through prayer. All right. We can. The Holy Spirit can hold this back if we just speak God's name over it. All right. If we just plead the blood of Jesus Christ over it, it will hold this thing back, and we might have some more time to get ready. So I wanted to encourage you and let you guys know that mountains can be moved through prayer. And if mountains can be moved, so can chemicals, so can militaries, so can all this stuff that's happening across the globe that's closing in on us, that's trying to literally encircle us and encompass us and cause us to be forced into a living situation that we don't want. all right, forced into a political situation that we don't want, like communism or a one world order, or force us into an economic situation we don't want, like a CBDC, a digital currency. You know what I'm saying? All these things are happening all at once. Look at it for what it is. The Bible told you it's going to happen. You know, thousands and thousands of years ago in the book of Daniel, and a few thousand years ago from the time of Jesus Christ. You know, like the Bible has foretold all of this. You know, my buddy who was ex-Illuminati turned Christian, he said either they're following the Bible as a playbook, the elite, or the Bible's real. And I'm going to tell you right now, the Bible is real. The King James Version, the 1611 King James Version, the Bible is real, folks, and it's coming to pass right before our very eyes. Buckle up and get your hearts right with God. Be repentant. Get that sin out of your life now, because Jesus is coming for a spotless bride. May God bless you, and may God keep you.
You know what? They're trying to kill us. Nobody's just telling the truth.
Yeah.
They're trying to kill us all.